Today I'm kicking off a new series where I answer reader questions because we're all in this together, and at some point this question has probably popped up for a few of you, so why not answer them in a video? So here's today's question. Hello, Christina. Do you have any resources on your website to answer questions on how to unite a very divided PTO? I am a current board member, but elections are upon us for a new board. So what's the problem? It's rigged. Positions have been pre-assigned already in a hush-hush manner by the incoming new president. So why even have elections? It's a show and to follow protocol. New ideas are supposed to follow a protocol of presenting in front of a board, discussing its pros and cons, and voting, which I agree with. However, they recently added four new positions to the board with no objections and rejections because we have a board that sides with the current VP. So there is a lot of politics involved. How should I handle this? Anyone can get demotivated to volunteer and be part of the board. Your thoughts, suggestions, and advice, please. Okay, so I think this is like a really common issue where PTO boards are not on the same page. Perhaps they're not even in the same book. And so that makes working together really difficult. So first I would start off with asking, does your group have a set of bylaws? Are those bylaws being followed? And specifically with regard to elections, does your group have a nominating committee that is working together to find the very best leaders for your group? If there's just one person, which kind of sounds like it is the incoming president, she should not be picking her BFFs to serve in those different positions. Like, your group is going to be best served when you have like leaders that are maybe not BFFs. Like, certainly I know I've worked really well with people that was initially didn't get along with very well at all, but at the end turned into like some of my closest friends. Like, that's happened on more than one occasion. So I think it's a real opportunity to work together when you have a diverse board. And really that is the key to keeping a healthy board, because if it's just all BFFs working together, then that's pretty much a clique. And people that are outside to the group rather are not going to want to come into the group because they're going to feel intimidated. They're going to just feel like they're already not part of the group. And that kind of sounds like what the problem is here a little bit. So I would maybe not make a stink, like, because there's like the what you should do on paper and then what you should do in reality. So on the paper answer is to get your bylaws in order and make sure there's a procedure to prevent this from happening in the future. Like, I think you can totally present it in a way that is not going to put the incoming president or the new board members on the defense. Like, they're not going to get defensive if you just say, hey, let's get all on the same page. And I think you're right to bring up these issues, but I would, as a practical matter, just kind of pick a good time to bring it up. And I would bring it up privately with maybe the new president first, and in just a very casual way, because I think a lot of times issues become a bigger issue because of the way that they're handled. But if you handle them in a good way, meaning one-on-one, just like, hey, I want to get everybody on the same page because I can see that we potentially could run into recruiting issues down the line if we're not open to everybody. Or even that's not like a great way to say that, but I'm sure you understand the gist of what I am trying to say there and the whole spirit of it. So I think if you approach the issue with, hey, I'd like to help, rather than, girl, you are effing the F up out of this one, right? Like, you can hear the difference even when I just say it like that. And I'm really not trying to be funny. I'm being very serious because I've run into issues before where people have, I don't know, they just did not have the same goals as I did or as the larger group did. And so we ran into issues. So I guess to solve the issue where you think everything is preordained kind of, I would not raise a stink right now. I would see about getting a procedure put in place to prevent it from happening in the future, because it very well could be that those new leaders are going to do a great job, and maybe it will turn out to be not such a bad thing. But to me, it sounds like you feel like you're on the outs and that it's all being orchestrated around you, and that makes you feel very uncomfortable and that you're not part of the group. So that's how I would try to address the issue. I would reach out to the new incoming president privately and just say, hey, I don't know what your existing relationship with her is, so it's hard for me to kind of prompt you with words that I would personally would use. But usually, I guess I could give you both scenarios then. So if it is someone you don't know at all, that's going to make it really easy for you to just call her up and be like, hey, new president, I'd love to get to know you a little bit better. And do you have time for 5 minutes or, a very short conversation that we can talk about ideas for next year? Something like that. Just lay the groundwork that you are a willing participant and you're ready to help make the group great. Okay. If you know her really well and you've had some issues in the past, then I think you own that. And I think that you just say, hey, incoming president, again, I'd love to catch up with you and see how we can work together. I would just keep it just very straight on that and very clear on your intentions, because then it won't be miscommunicated. Like if you tell people exactly what to expect, then they can't come up with a whole bunch of other junk and create drama around what might be going on. So I guess that's how I would diffuse the political situation. And you didn't mention in your email if you got a position or if you felt like you were being excluded. I think sometimes when it becomes kind of messy like this, you have a choice to make yourself. So you are in this to make the school a better place and to make your children's experience in school better, more enriched, right? So look to see how you can still do that. If it has become messier than you care to deal with, it's fine to tap out. Like you can find some other way to be involved. So if it is not through the PTO, are you able to support your child's teacher directly? Like look for opportunities there. If a group is divided, then a lot of times that can indicate that everyone's not on the same page. Perhaps people are not even in the same book. So I would maybe when you're having the discussion with the incoming president, just say, hey, you know what? I'd really like to set some goals for this next year so that we can make sure we're all on the same page, and kind of just get that out there. That is totally a good suggestion. Like I'm all about goals. I'm all about planning for those goals to help make them happen. So I think that would be a good way to kind of begin to bring everybody together, because when you're all working towards the same specific goal, it just is a natural uniter because you all have a shared purpose. And so that can begin to repair some of the issues that you've described. Do hope that this is super helpful for you and that you can begin to look at the situation a different way. I hope this has been super helpful, and I will be back again with another video to help you become a stronger leader so you can run a better PTO.